Downtown Tyler is in the midst of a noticeable transformation, with historic buildings being restored and reimagined as part of a much broader revitalization effort. Among the most significant projects, the renovation of the Fair Foundation building. It's a building built back in the 1940s along South Broadway Avenue. KLTV7's April Peardon has more tonight on the work now underway to revive this downtown landmark.
This is all new carpeting in here, all new painting, and then raised ceilings with new lighting.
Gregory Gatto, a managing partner with NORF Companies, is on a mission
to hold on and to take care of this beautiful old historical building.
Inside the 1942 Fair Foundation building in downtown Tyler, new renovations are taking place.
And not only do we plan on renovating, just as we have here, some of these traditional offices for lease, we are also building additional conference rooms and break rooms in the building.
But when it comes to historic buildings like this one, the process can be lengthy.
Sometimes it actually can take longer to do full and precise renovations of a historic building, because you must maintain so much of it than just even building brand new.
This includes the windows.
They must be maintained, but we come back and we do a complete gut clean out, reset, and then full redoing to waterproof everything.
Amber Verona, the downtown director for the city of Tyler, says the renovation of the building is a piece of a puzzle that will add to the city's future growth.
It isn't just the public coming in, it's not just the city coming in, it's these private investors that are seeing the potential of downtown, seeing what it's going to become.
Gatto says a new Tyler might be closer than we think.
We're excited about the future here, and we're excited about all the work we've done so far, and we can't wait to get more done.
April Peardon, KLTV 7 News.
And the developer expects to finish all of the suites in the Fair Foundation building within a year.